it's me again. Welcome to another United Kingdom talk.
From the Mirrorball studio in Royal Berkshire, this is Chris Reardon.
Warm welcome along, and eagle-eyed people from the last programme will have noticed there was a little bit of a cut. Did you notice that? There was a little bit of a cut on my cheek. I don't know if it's still there, actually. Oh, hang on, which side is it? Is it still there? I think it might be. 1 minute, I can't quite see the mirror for me. I'm trying to look at the little screen next to me where I could see myself, but it's not possible. It might be there. I don't think it's that side, is it? Oh, yes, it is. There it is. Can you see that little mark on my face? Now, of course, people are wondering now, people all over the world are wondering, what is that small little cut on my face? That little, very, very sexy scar. You like it, don't you? Do you like my sexy scar? What was it? Well, actually, I had a few hours off the other day, which is very rare for me. You know me, hyper. As someone was saying to me the other day, because I rung them relatively early in the morning. When I say early in the morning, you see, early to me in the morning is like 10 o'clock. Because I go to bed so late. And they were saying to me when I rang them up, oh my God, you're hyper in the morning, aren't you? And yes, I am. Hyper. It's the only way to be. My word. I mean, you're a long time gone, aren't you? Let's face it. Once you're gone, there's no more hyperactivity. So we've got to be as hyper and active as possible now, lovies. That's what it is. Someone said, oh my God, you're really hyper in the morning. Yes, I am. My word, I think that's why people used to leave so quickly. Here in my home. They couldn't wait to get out that door. Isn't that strange? Anyway, back to the cut. You may be wondering what that small little sexy scar... Do you like it? Got a little sexy scar just underneath my eye... Not my eye, my eye socket. Because the socket's quite big, isn't it? That's the socket. We like that word, socket. Yes, socket. The eye socket just below there's a little bit of a scar. And the truth is, I did have a few hours off last week, and I did go scuba diving in Barbados. And as we were quietly, just having a look around under the water at the various beautiful corals and the little fishes, and angelfish. Do you like angelfish? Has anyone got tropical fish? I could never see they're very relaxing, aren't they? Tropical fish. My nephew has tropical fish. Yes, him and his girlfriend, they've got a fish tank in the bedroom. Now, I don't know what you think of that. I don't like the idea of a fish tank in the bedroom. I know they don't smell or anything like that, but, I don't know. I don't agree with that, a fish tank in the bedroom. But he's got a lot of fish in there. I'm not quite sure which ones. I think he has an angelfish, and him and his girlfriend went out to the town nearest to them. I think it was Lincoln, which is the main kind of town where they live, in Woodhall Spa in Lincolnshire, where I am going next week, and I'm very excited. Very excited. And they've recently bought some more tropical fish, and he can't wait to show me them. I mean, they're only fish, for God's sake, aren't they? I can't see the point of them, but they've always got fish, haven't they? Why is there always a fish tank in a dentist place? Is it like that where you are? Do you go to the dentist? And if not, why not? You've got to look after your teeth. You've only got one set of teeth, dear. They don't grow back again once they've gone. That's it. Yes, of course you get your milk teeth, I know. When you're a little baby boy or a little baby girl, you get milk teeth and they fall out. And for a moment you become gummy. Gummy. Yeah. And you talk like that for a while when your teeth are gone. Joy talks like that when she takes hers out, didn't Joy? Oh, I'm sorry. That's very rude of me, Joy, isn't it? I don't mean to... I'm not making light of the situation. Yes, I am. Oh, I've lost the plot now again. What we're talking about? Fish. What was before fish? Going up to my sister's. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to going up to my sister's. Oh, the cut on my face. That's it. See, I lose the plot, don't I? I completely lose the thread. So the cut on my face, yes, we went scuba diving in Barbados for a few hours, And while we were down there looking around at the beautiful fish and the tropical fish, actually, I should have taken down there a little plastic bag, shouldn't I? And I could have caught some fish and smuggled them in on one of the suitcases. And then my dear nephew and his girlfriend wouldn't have had to buy any. They could have been freshly caught by their uncle, smuggled in secretly past the customs. Have you got anything in your luggage, sir? No, BA lost it in Terminal 5. Fair enough, sir. Carry on. Oh, don't. You know, I take it, wherever you are in the world, you know what terrible, terrible problems we've had in the UK at Heathrow Airport with Terminal 5. Do you know about it, lovey? I will come to that later, OK? I will come to that later, don't worry. So, there we are in the oceans in Barbados, whatever it is there. I can't remember what it was. I didn't look at the sign. There was no sign. I mean, my head was bobbing above the water and I was looking, where is the sign to tell me what ocean this is? You don't know, do you? I mean, you've got to guess. It's not very good, really, is it? I mean, here in the UK, at least you know where you are. There are little signs everywhere. Some roads, you can't see the road for the amount of signs. Parking restrictions. Please don't bring up the subject of my parking ticket again. It has now been paid. £60, dear. Daylight robbery. What a cheek. What an absolute cheek. Giving me a parking ticket after me, the goodness of my heart, gave someone a lift somewhere and dropped them off at 20 to 1 in the morning, dear. 20 to 1 in the morning. It is a cash cow, and it doesn't matter what anyone says to me. Parking at that time on a clear road for 20 seconds should not be an offence. Chris Reardon for Mayor of London. Yes, I quite like that. If I was Mayor of London, just think I could go around and interview everyone. Anyway, we're getting off the subject. So, there I am, down there, looking around, and suddenly a white shark came close to my face. Now, at this point, of course, in the programme, if I had it, you would have heard the theme music to Jaws. But I don't have it, so I can't play it. But I can hum it. And here is the shark fin. Hang on, we need the shark fin now. Can we use the corner of a piece of paper? There it is. That's the shark fin, you see. And the shark looked at me. And I looked at it. And I says, yes. And it went to bite my face. And it just caught a little bit there. And that's what the scar is. It is a fouled shark bite. Because I gave the shark one of my looks. And it turned around and ran off. Like the little fairy it really was. So there we are. That's how I got this. What do you mean you don't believe me? You don't believe me? Now, come on. Haven't I got one of those faces that you can trust? You would trust it. If you was hanging on the end of one of those bungee things that we were talking about the other day and I was holding it at the top, would you trust me? I like to think so, my loves. All right, then, it wasn't a shark bite. What happened is that I was just getting ready for work the other day and I was having a shave, because I have a shave at night. I don't usually have one in the morning. And I was scraping away with this thing rather quick, this razor. Oh, do you know, I still haven't looked up where I can find how to sharpen razor blades. I must look that up. Let me just make a note of that. Have to look up how to sharpen razors. Because Wayne sent me a good link for that. I keep meaning to look that up. Yeah, what happened is I slipped a bit with the razor and just made a little cut. Is it that side? I can't remember. I mean, it's nearly gone now. I think it's that side there, and that's what happened. All right. So well done for those of you eagle-eyed, and who spotted that one. I mean, even people listening at the moment. How are you, my darlings? Even people listening at the moment may have noticed a slight a slight difference in my voice due to the cut. Did you? There is an email address. If you ever want to join into the show, it'd be great to hear from you. The email is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, where's my list of things to talk about? There it is. Now, today also, I have another new shirt on, a brand new shirt I have on today to do my programme. And it's no rubbish, you know. This is none other, just a minute, none other, look, one minute. It's there, it is. This is none other, I was just getting my little embroidered, what is it? Is it a unicorn or what is it there? I don't know. Looks like some sort of horse. But I have on today, are you ready for this? A Ralph Lauren shirt. Oh, yes. A Ralph Lauren shirt. And it's very, very red. It's like a very deep red. It's one of my favourite wearing colours, that is, red. And this is brand new. Where did it come from? eBay, of course. eBay. How much did I pay for this shirt? Go on, guess. How much did I pay for a Ralph Lauren shirt? £9, dear. £9. And I think the postage was about £2, so £11 altogether. It's not bad, is it, eh? It was brand new in a packet. I don't think it's because, you know, you've got to be careful on that eBay. Sometimes you get copies from like places like the Far East and that, where it says perhaps it's a pair of pair of Levi jeans, and it comes, and clearly they're not Levi's, but they do have Levi's labels on or similar things. So you have to be careful. Sometimes you get copies. I don't think this is a copy because it's very thick and warm. And someone I went, one of my exes, blimey, a long time ago now, about 15 years ago, his name was Ron. I might have mentioned him a couple of times before, but he was always having these label clothes and Ralph Lauren this, and I don't know, I can't think of any other names for the moment. Ben Sherman and all that business. He always had label clothes, and I wouldn't buy them. I would never pay the premium price that labels and named items seem to attract, and they do attract. Versace. I mean, for God's sake, £400 on a pair of jeans. Do me a favour. It's madness. But on eBay, you can get bargains like this. I'm very pleased to announce that I have a red Ralph Lauren shirt and I only paid £11 for it. The only thing is, and obviously you can't smell it, it does smell. I have a feeling that whoever's house it's come from was a smoker, because it does smell a bit smoky. I haven't actually smelt this smell since we stopped the smoking in bars and clubs, so that's cool. But it is a little bit. It's not too bad. It's a little bit smoky, so probably after the show that'll go in the washing machine. It's all right, don't worry. I can hear women all over the world saying, "Oh, make sure you pull it in on its own or only with other red things." And I've learnt that lesson many times. Actually, you don't learn the lesson. Boys, you don't learn the lesson, do you, chaps? How many boys and men at the moment are listening and very rarely do the washing? Those that do occasionally, how many of you have put red and white in the washing machine at the same time, only to come out with pink towels and pink white pants and things like that? Have you done that before? Thing is, I don't seem to learn. Okay, I might do it today. Say, for example, I put this red shirt in with a white towel, and then I would get kind of pink, pink white things coming out instead. I think, I mustn't do that again. And then a few months down the line, you do it all over again. And you put the red and the white in, and you're thinking, it'll be all right this time. And of course it's not. It still comes out pink. We don't learn our lessons, do we, chaps? But there you are. You see, ladies, this is the thing. Now, I don't want to sound sexist or anything like this, but ladies, clearly you know how to do these washing things. We don't understand these things. People like myself, real men. People, I beg your pardon? Sorry? Who said that? Please, I am a real man. Real men, real men don't understand how to do washing and things like that. I mean, clearly these celebrities like, I can't think of any celebrities now. You know, young male celebrities do not do the washing, do they? They must do something for their wives and girlfriends in return, take them on holidays, take them out to nice meals and all that sort of thing. But we don't understand how to do washing, which is why, ladies, I've always said this. We really do need you in the kitchen. That's not to say... hang on a minute, just a minute now. Don't start emailing in and say that's a sexist comment. I didn't say you belong in the kitchen. Did I say that? Look at you, looking to be offended, aren't you? Oh, it's one of those born every day, dear. People who look to be offended. They're constantly looking around. What will offend me today so that I can have a moan? I didn't say you belong in the kitchen. Pay attention. It's all very well you listening to this programme or watching this programme and taking out the bits and pieces that you want to remember. You've got to remember the whole thing. I said, quote. How do you do that? A little quote. I hate it when people do that, actually. Shall I draw a couple of quotation marks? Just a minute. There we are. Quote. Can you see that? Quote. I said, quote. Women are needed in the kitchen because you can do these things that we can't do, lovey. I mean, what have I done here? Oh, that's all right. Take my nephew's girlfriend, Stacey. When she came round here, and she knew instinctively that the kitchen needed to be cleaned. I had been here since 1992. And you know what? I never knew that. Fortunately, Stacey came to me all kind of little bit. What's the word I'm going to use now? A bit shy, perhaps. A little bit shy, a little bit not quite sure how to say this to me. And she said, "Chris, do you mind if while you're at work I do the kitchen?" And I looked at her. I said, "Oh, are you sure you want to?" And I thought, yes, get the kitchen clean for nothing. And she says, "Well, yeah, if you don't mind. If you don't want me to, I won't." "Oh, no," I said, you do what you want to do, my darling. Treat this house as your own." I went to work, came back, it was spotless. Oh, marvellous. Cupboards cleaned and everything. You see, the trouble is, one of the white cupboards, I've got white cupboards downstairs. And unfortunately, one of the cats, Katie, the young one, she keeps climbing up onto the sink and tries to drink out of the tap. I've told her... she won't listen, dear. She won't. I've told her time and time again, please do not drink out of the tap. And she knows she's not supposed to do it, you know. Right? Because whenever I appear, if I come from the living room to the kitchen and she's up there, she jumps off and runs out the door. She knows she's not allowed to do it. She's a naughty girl. But Daddy Chris, he doesn't slap her. I don't punish my cats. I give them a look. The same sort of look that I gave to the shark, incidentally. I have to give them a look. And she runs out the door. But the trouble is, when she climbs up, because she jumps, I don't know how she does it, she jumps up onto the sink, and there are little black paw marks on the cupboard that goes up there. I'm not quite sure how that happens, because if she jumps, she can't, climb up. She can't climb up the cupboard, can she? She must jump up. Maybe it's when it'd be when she comes down, wouldn't it? Because when cats jump down, they kind of put their two paws down, don't they? Oh, we love the cats. So there we are. That's my eBay smoky shirt, which needs to be cleaned. Which reminds me, I must invite Stacey and Gary round again very, very soon. Because more cleaning needs to be done. Although I did have a little bit of a go at the kitchen the other day. I did clean the kitchen floor with my completely useless sponge mop. Would you like me to go and get it? Would you like to have a look at my new sponge mop? Because it's useless. Just a minute. This is going to take a little bit of time, I'm afraid. Can you wait a second? then I can show you my mop. Oh, shall I bring it up for the... No, I'll go and get it now. Stay there a minute. Just don't go away. I might be a few seconds for this one. Oh, can I play you a bit of music while I'm gone? Maybe not. Stay there a second. Wait a minute. Nearly back. There we are, that's it. Oh dear. Up and down the stairs, dear. Well, I just wanted to show you my new, rather useless mat mop. Now this is the sponge mop. That isn't particularly good. It's got a red pole. Don't worry, I'm going to describe it, those of you that can't see it. Would I forget you? No, exactly. It's got a red pole, and at the end is this like sponge type affair, okay? And the idea is you plonk it in the bucket. Oh, hang on, I'm going to knock things over here, and you plonk it in my bucket. I've got my bucket here. Proper bucket, dear. I think I nicked this from somewhere where I worked once. I've had this years. Yeah, look, it's a proper one. None of your plastic rubbish, dear. Look, a proper woman's mop bucket, innit? And this sponge thing. Now, number one problem with this new sponge thing, right, is that it doesn't quite fit in here. Look, doesn't quite fit in my mop bucket. So what I have to do is push the red mop down on the, because there's a square sponge at the end. Oh, which looks like it's coming off already. Oh, do you know £9 this cost me? No, $18 for this blooming mop, which doesn't work properly. Anyway, so what you have to do is to get it into there, you have to kind of push the thing down, and it like squeezes it, right? Squeezes it in half, okay? And then it will fit in, and then you dunk it in the bucket, dear. I mean, I could work on one of those shopping channels, couldn't I? Eh? I reckon we would sell hundreds and hundreds of mops. Should I ever be employed to work on a shopping channel? Perhaps QVC, or Bid Up TV. My friend works on Bid Up TV. His name is Michael. Yes, Michael also does a cabaret act called Dolly Diamond. He's really good. I can't think of his surname. Michael... Oh, I can't remember. But he's on Bid Up TV, Michael. His name is always... He's the smartest dressed one on there, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so that's how it works. So to get it in the bucket, you have to close the thing, which you would... Admittedly, you would have to do that anyway. And then you open it up and give it a little push up and down so it absorbs the water. And then the idea is you get it out, and then before you start mopping the floor, you have to squeeze the excess water out. Now, to do this, you kind of move the thing down and it clicks. Can you hear that? And it's supposed to lock, and it kind of squeezes the sponge together, and this water comes out. The thing is, I find that it doesn't squeeze it out enough. Otherwise, you're left with a very wet floor, which is no good. And also, the floor I have downstairs are slate tiles, which I've mentioned before, I know. They're not smooth, so they're bumpy. And what seems to happen is that the water gathers in the little nooks and crannies, and this sponge mop just does not get the water out. Does quite a good job of cleaning the floor, admittedly, but it doesn't get the water out from the crevices, and then you're left with a very wet floor for quite a long period of time before it all blooming evaporates. So the thing is with this, as I say, it doesn't seem to squeeze out properly. You can see that it has folded the sponge in half, and the water will get mainly squeezed out, but not all of it. And look, if you do that, if you squeeze it, you can squeeze it, you know, by hand. So what I found was that I was just getting wet hands using this. However, I have repaired my string mop. You can't beat a string mop, dears. And here it is. Oh, yes, my string mop. Look at that. What I had to do, because what happened, I don't know what, it was Stacey who broke it, dear. When she was here, I came back one day and there's this mop head on the floor. She says, oh, something's gone wrong with the mop. What's a cheek, dear? She comes in here, smashing my house up. It's a liberty, that's what it is, a liberty. Anyway, I've repaired my mop now. And what I had to do was get a screw and put the thing on the end. And there we are, it's all sorted. So once again, see, this is really good at cleaning the floor. It absorbs all the water. And the beautiful thing is you can squeeze it out properly because in the top there, you see it's got a little hole in the top of the bucket. And you just kind of drop the string bits into that hole and then twist and push down, and that's what gets all the water out. So that works quite well. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. So I'm very pleased about that. The mops, the sponge mop. I'll probably keep that, but I shall now be able to go back to my string mop. Marvellous. Just sharing that with you. Don't forget the email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, last night, I have excellent news, boys and girls. Last night at our karaoke night, on Tuesday nights at the Golden Lion. Now, don't forget, anyone who comes, because now and again we do get people pop down who either watch or listen to the show. The karaoke night is moving to Wednesdays in May. Okay, we are moving from Tuesdays to Wednesdays in May. First week of May, it stops happening on a Tuesday and it starts on a Wednesday. And I mentioned to you before, this is because after looking around in the various publications and newspapers and things, we find that virtually everywhere, for some reason, does karaoke on a Tuesday night. Similarly, lots of pubs and venues do quizzes on Wednesday nights. So we've swapped them over. So hopefully we'll be the only ones doing karaoke on a Wednesday, are the only ones doing a quiz night, which I don't do the quiz night in this particular place, on a Tuesday. So there we are. But last night, guess who turned up to my karaoke night in the Golden Lion? I could not believe it. Julian and Romy. How fantastic was that? You remember those two? Recently got married around Christmas time, didn't they? Regular listeners to the show. Julian and Romy turned up at the Golden Lion. And they sat right next to me. And it was just, as soon as these people, I was just standing there, and this couple appeared at the door. And they looked over, and I waved, and I thought, I recognise them. And then straight away it dropped into, because they send me photos, you see. Straight away it dropped into my head. I thought, oh my word, that's Julian and Romy. And I left the singer on stage, and I rushed across to the door to welcome them. And it's just surreal, really. Absolutely surreal meeting people like that. And lovely. And what a lovely couple. I think Julian sat there, he had a cheese sandwich and a bit of salad. And Romy sat there and had a vegetable lasagna. I think it was a vegetable lasagna, which I quite like that sort of stuff. And they stayed for about 2 hours. Now, they didn't sing. Apparently, these two don't sing. I just had a feeling, Julian and Romy, you were going to sit there and sing Endless Love and gaze into each other's eyes. And it was just so nice to see the two of them there. And they have now moved to the UK from Argentina just a couple of days ago. They've both got jobs. I think Julian's got a job over here. I can't think, is Romy got a job yet? I can't remember now. But anyway, they're both over here now together. They're already renting a room. And Julian was telling me that they also have an offer on a flat in an area called Manor House in London. He was asking me what it was like there. And do you know what? I really don't know. I don't really know the Manor House area at all. But I don't know if he's been able to get the flat, but apparently they had to tell the guy by today whether or not they were accepting the offer of the flat, which sounds to me quite expensive, certainly more expensive than the properties I have out here in Berkshire. But on the other hand, that is London, you see. It's always going to be more expensive in London. So I hope they're very happy there. Whether or not they got the flat... excuse me, I've got one of my ears has gone dead. What have I got to do? I've got to blow my nose. 1 minute. There we are. Is that open? That's better. Yeah, I have a problem with one of the ears keeps going a bit funny here. I think I must have something in there. There's not some sort of dreadful pus or nothing leaking out there. Oh, what a dreadful thought. Can you imagine that? Sitting there and something just starts coming out of your ear. Oh, vile. Vile. Yeah, I don't really know the manor house. Whether or not they got the flat, I don't know yet. I shall find that out probably in the next couple of days. But the only thing is, he is renting privately, which is okay. But there's no estate agent involved. Now, this does worry me a little bit because, I mean, with my properties, they all go via an estate agent. If I get any problems, they sort it out. Similarly, if the tenant has a problem, they go to the estate agent. So you've got someone in the middle, which costs the landlord more. Okay, I have to pay the estate agent to look after those sort of things, and it's not a small fee really. It's a fair fee. It's 11% of the rental income. However, I feel a lot happier with someone in the middle. Maybe, you know, someone in the middle who kind of takes the stick from both sides, I suppose, although I never give them any stick. Julian and Romy, they are renting directly from someone, which is not unusual. You know, this is a normal thing. People could rent directly from me. But the thing is, if you get any problems, and it's like landlord or tenant, and there's no one really in the middle to sort of buffer, and it just concerns me a little bit. And he says, we're going to read the contract when we get it to check it's all right. And that just worries me a little bit. Although, you know, there's thousands of people all over the world who rent directly like that, and it's not a problem. So I'm sure you'll be all right. It's just the way I do things, you know, via with the estate agents. So good luck for that, Julian and Romy. And I hope to see you soon again in the pub. All right. Now, from May, of course, I'll be there on Mondays for the Bingay and on Wednesdays for the karaoke. That's from the first week in May, although the karaoke is still at the moment on Tuesday nights. Also last night it was a really good Tuesday night for our karaoke. We had a group of Italians who came down, who were very nice. We had a lovely group of German girls who came down and had a bit of a sing. But by far the biggest contingency in there last night were the Danish, who were really lovely. I think they were some sort of college or school trip, and they were all over 18, and they looked to me like they were between 18 and 20 in there last night. And it was a very large group. There must have been about 30 of them. But what a nice bunch of people. They were so well behaved. Well, not just them. They were well behaved. The Italians were well behaved, and the German group were. And it was really multinational in there last night. So we had Julian and Romy from Argentina. We had the Germans. We had the Danish. We had the Italians. We had Rory from Ireland, who was a little bit drunk last night. Rory. He does like a drink. We had the bar staff. One of the bar staff was from Portugal. Isn't it fantastic to have all these people together? And the Danish were just so fantastic. They were really up for a good night, and they came in around about 8:15, just after we started the karaoke last night. Fantastic. They sung, a lot of them sung songs on their own, and they did a couple of group songs where two of the boys started taking their clothes off on the stage down to their underpants. I wish, actually, I don't have a photograph of them in their underpants, but I think I've got a photograph on my mobile phone of the entire group. So if I can find a way of uploading it, I will put that on today's show. Now, which you'll have to go on the internet to find that one, and it will be the show dated if I can work this out, Thursday the 17th of April, okay? It'll be the show dated Thursday the 17th of April, and hopefully, that's the particular show. Hopefully you'll be able to see a little picture of all the singers. I'm sure it's the Danish singers. You'll see a photo of all of the Danish singers that were singing last night. But such a nice group. And this young lad came up to me while I was doing my karaoke stuff, and he said, "We just wanted to say thank you for having such a great sense of humour." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, I just do like this. He said, "No," he says, "wherever we've been, all over Denmark and indeed in the UK," he says, "you find DJs don't have a sense of humour and they're all so serious. You've got on there," and of course, when the boys started taking their clothes off, they were down to their underpants. I rushed up there with one of my hooded tops, and I quickly put it around his waist, pretending to cover him up and all that. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And then I noticed the curtains, because the curtains at the back of the stage in the Golden Lion cover a big window. So when we've got any sorts of shows on, like the karaoke or the Bingay, we close the curtains at the back, so it gives it a nice backdrop. Well, I think there were 4 or 5 of them on the stage. While 4 or 5 of them were on the stage, they were dancing around, and these curtains had slightly kind of opened in the middle, where they obviously caught the end of them. And these two lads are standing there on their underbeds. I thought, oh, my God. So I rushed up there quickly and closed the curtains. There were people outside in the street looking. I mean, you don't mind so much if they come in and spend a bit of money, dear. But they're not having a free show. What a cheek, isn't it, eh? Come on in and spend some money. Buy us a drink or two. I'd quite happily have a Coca-Cola or a Lucasade with you. There we are. So, great night last night. Gwen came down as well last night. You remember our friend Gwen? And I am going to try with my little video camera and do an outside little film of me having a chat with Gwen at some point. So, fingers crossed that will work. I'm not quite sure how that will all work. But Gwen was there last night as well. Our friend Gwen, who you've heard on the show a couple of times. Excuse me. Who apparently had a terrible trouble getting a bus home last night. She said she was waiting for this bus. It was on the wrong side. It was coming towards her at part of the road where she get the bus. It's a very wide road, and it was on the wrong side of the road. She thought this bus isn't going to stop, and then suddenly it obviously saw her and it swerved over to her. She said it was terrible, and she missed one bus, so she was standing at this bus stop till 1 o'clock in the morning. Gwen is marvellous. She is marvellous. She is 70 or 71 years old. And she goes around late at night. We're talking 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. She's getting buses all over the place, to different karaoke nights. And sometimes to the bingo as well. Bingay. She's marvellous. I mean, she really is. I just kind of hope that if God willing, I get to her age, I can still go around and do things like she's doing, and it's just fantastic. And she was singing. She's got a lot of heart, Gwen. She really has, and she gets and she's got emotions the same as all of us. And when she sings Coldplay, "Fix You," I don't know if you know that song, and I can't remember. When you try at first and you don't succeed. Do you know that one? Coldplay, "Fix You." And she sings it, and she sings it from the heart. And there are big tears in her eyes, and it's just fantastic. And I'd love to see her on the television. I really would love to see her on the television in one of the big chat shows. I mean, this little thing I do here, it's only small time, you see. But I will actually take the video camera along in a couple of weeks and film her singing a song, and hopefully we'll put it up in between this programme, and of course on the Radio Wise you will be able to hear her sing again, because she has sung a couple of times for us, and it's just beautiful. And while she's singing "Fix You," you can see her eyes start to water when she becomes emotional and all that, and it's just lovely. So there we are. That was last night, and as I say, great to meet Julian and Romy at last, and good luck here in the UK. Hope everything goes all right for you. Julian was saying that since he's been here, the agency that got him the original job has since rung and offered him another job with better money. But Julian told me that the original job that he's been offered, they have waited for 3 months for him to come over here, and also offered him a room for a few weeks while he finds a flat, and they've done all this. And Julian was asking me, what do I think? Should he go for the money with the job for the more money? But he feels a little bit worried about that because this other company has kind of waited for him and all that. And I said to Julian, don't always go for the money. I've never really needed to learn that. I've always known that. Go for who treats you the best. Now, this company that has offered you the original job, I've had the decency to wait for 3 months. Of course, they must want you as well. They must want you, otherwise they wouldn't have waited. But nevertheless, they waited for you for 3 months. They offered you a room while you're trying to find somewhere to live when you get over here. Well, now that you're here. So I would say to you, stick with the first offer. Give them a chance because they've given you one. Whether or not you do, it's entirely up to you. But my mind's telling me, hang on a minute, this company, doesn't matter how big they are. They wanted you. But nevertheless, they seem to have done an awful lot for you. I would stick with them. Don't always, and it's the same with all jobs, don't always go for the more money. Years ago, when I worked for BT as an engineer, I was given a promotion. Now, the job I did as an engineer at first was to go around in a little yellow van. We had yellow vans at the time, British Telecom vans. And I would go around fixing telephones, climbing up telegraph poles, in and out people's houses, and meeting many, many lovely people. A lot of elderly people, which I love talking to elderly people, as you know. And it was a great job, a great, great job. To go up the ladder and to get promotion, and of course a reasonably sized pay rise, you had to work back into the office. Okay, so I took the pay rise and went back in the office. And you know what, within a few weeks I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I cannot stand being cooped up in an office. It's just awful. And after a while I took the pay cut and went back outside again. And I was much happier. So don't always go for the money. Go for where you're happiest. Even a couple of jobs at the moment I'm doing is on slightly less money. I mean, only slightly less money than where I was before. But I'm much happier. I feel I'm treated a lot better. Don't always go for the money. Go for where you're happiest and where you think you're treated the best. And even though you haven't started working for that other company yet, Julian, I think they've treated you pretty good up to now. So I personally would go with those. All right? Bingay Monday, that was good. This one bloke, I must tell you, you'll laugh at this. One bloke, he won 2 bottles at the Bingay on Monday night. Again, that's at the Golden Lion. He won 2 bottles of Smirnoff, large bottles of Smirnoff. The 1 litre size is where we've got as part of the prizes now. And he was already he looked to me like he was well on his way to being drunk. And he was a bit like this, swaying from side to side. Mind you, I sway from side to side and I don't even drink. So this guy at the Bingay, he won 2 large bottles of Smirnoff. And that is a full house prize, okay? 2 bottles of Smirnoff, 2 full house prizes, 2 large bottles of Smirnoff, and a flask, which was one of these single line prizes. A thermos flask, just a normal thermos flask. And right at the very end of the night, I saw him. He was sitting at this table on his own. I mean, it's not bad, is it? I think he bought about 6 bingo tickets altogether, which would have cost him £6, $12. And with that, he won 2 bottles of Smirnoff, £13 each. That's £26, $54. And a flask. And the flask was only about £4, $8. So he didn't do too bad, did he? At the end of the night, I spotted him sitting on this sofa, which is against the window. We just closed, so it was bang on midnight now. So we don't chuck everyone out at midnight. You get 20 minutes to drink your drink. And I looked over and I thought, well, what's he doing over there? And what he'd done, he'd taken the top off the flask and he was looking inside it. Oh, it was probably just seeing if it's clean and everything. Anyway, I was putting all the stuff away and putting all the prizes back away. Downstairs, they all kept in the cellar. And I come back upstairs and I noticed that he was pouring one of the bottles of Smirnoff into the flask. It's the funniest thing you've seen. So I thought to myself, he's doing that on the way home, obviously on the bus or wherever he travels home. He's going to be drinking the Smirnoff, obviously neat, straight, nothing added to it. He's going to be sitting on the bus with cups of Smirnoff out of the flask. Have you ever seen anything like it? Honestly, I mean, I've heard about being desperate for a drink. Some people they do. I mean, I know we might have a couple of alcoholics watching. I don't make light of that. It's just one of those things, isn't it? But never seen anyone pouring a bottle of Smirnoff into a flask. Each and every one to their own. The deaf group were in as well last night. They're a nice little bunch of people, the deaf group that come in. They love the bingo. All right, now, T5, Terminal 5 here in the UK. The problems just go on and on, don't they? What a joke. They are still... How many weeks are we in now? 2 or 3 weeks since it opened. They are still cancelling flights. The baggage system is just unbelievable. I was watching this programme, Watchdog, on Monday. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last show. And it showed you a little film of the baggage system there. And it looks the most fantastic piece of technology you've ever did see. Bags trundling around, and now and again, sort of part of the conveyor belt seems to drop down, and a bag drops down through a hole, obviously distributing the bags to the correct places of the airport. But you look at this thing, and you think to yourself, that's an incredibly complicated piece of machinery. Similarly, if it's complicated, there must be an awful lot that could go wrong, and indeed it is. On this TV programme, Watchdog, here in the UK, it said, at the end of the conveyor belt, they have 2 container things. When the containers fill up with bags, like people obviously have to take the bags off the belt, and then put them into the containers. When the containers are full up, they have to go away and 2 more come. But that process takes 20 minutes. And all this time, bags are stacking up. And I just don't think they thought about this properly. The only thing is, how are they going to get the damn thing to work now? Madness, isn't it? All they've got to do is put a few bags onto the plane. Now, I know there are people who would say it's not as simple as that. I kind of feel a bit sorry for the... and no one seems to know whose fault it is. Is it BA's fault, British Airways, whose reputation has been seriously damaged by this? At a time when airlines are having real problems with money and what have you. The price of fuel, for example, for airlines has skyrocketed this year. Skyrocketed. And with the Terminal 5, I'm not quite sure whether it's BA's fault, British Airways' fault, or the British Airports Authority. Which one is it? Or is it a bit of a combination of the both? It's very difficult to tell. The only thing is the chairman of BA, Willie Walsh, Of course, he's the chairman, and he keeps apologising and apologising and apologising. The only thing is, I did see a little bit of an interview with him the other day, and then when they finished doing the talking, he turned his back and went off, and they were still shouting at him, and the cameras were obviously following him. And they got to these two glass doors, and he had some sort of help with him. And as they got to the glass doors, he went through, kept his back to the camera, and this help quickly closed the doors in the camera's face. And I wasn't impressed by that. I wasn't impressed by that at all. If you are the chairman of a company getting thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, you've got to sit there and face the music, mate. It's a job I wouldn't want. If you want the money, you've got to face the public, mate. On the other hand, I'm sure he would say, but I've said sorry and we are trying to sort it out. What else do you want me to do? I could understand that side of it as well. But I don't think you should turn your back on the camera and have some nobody close the doors in the cameraman's face. That's a little bit much. Also, on the other hand, sometimes with private things, this is completely different, of course, some people's private lives. I don't like the way photographers and cameramen and reporters push their way into some people's lives like celebrities. But again, there's another side to that story as well. If you are a celebrity, you've got to expect that. Haven't you? Any thoughts on that? You know the email address. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, hopefully in the next show, I've got a couple of very, very funny stories to tell you about a British Airways airline hostess. One of the girls who works, and I can't mention her name because I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to tell you the story or not. There's nothing of great importance to the story. They're just very funny. Two very funny stories. I can't remember if I've told you one of them already. I might have told you one of them already, but I will tell you the story in the next show. Okay, so don't worry about that. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is the email address. Now, just time for a couple of little emails before we go. A bit quiet on the emails recently. Is everyone all right, dear? And the forums as well, but we'll talk about the forums on the next show as well. First of all, from Joe. Hello, Joe, and he did send this a couple of weeks ago. He says, as I listened to your programme on Saturday the 29th of March, I took particular note of your statement about you not being involved in gay marches or anything like that. I assume you were talking about you in generally taking an activism role. Yes, I was. He says, anyway, it made me think about what typically spawns gay rights activism in the US. More often than not, it's what's that word? Monetarily driven, such as state-acknowledged civil unions, gay marriage, which opens up right to survivorships, spousal insurances, yes, long story made short. It gives the same financial credibility and legal dominion to unions that normal man-woman relationships currently enjoy, something for various reasons the US government, state governments and religious hierarchy would like to avoid. The point of bringing all this up, if you wish, I'd like to talk about the recognition of the civil union of gay marriage in the UK, resistance to movement, etc. If it's too heavy a piece of subject matter for your show, completely understandable. Have a good day, and that's from Joe. Yeah. For me, Joe, I think I like to keep this programme fairly light-hearted. And I think it would be a little bit too heavy for this show. People might be watching now and think, well, this is the sort of subject you should tackle. I don't know. It's not that sort of show. This is more of a light-hearted thing. We do touch on the subject sometimes. I mean, for example, the Scottish flag business or the Union Jack a couple of weeks ago. That was, we touched on it, and we can always touch on anything. Anything that you want to touch on is fine by me, although I don't go right into it. My personal opinions, I think I've stated before, I don't really get involved in any of these marches. Certainly here in the UK, I honestly don't think we need them anymore. People are quite accepting. People are okay. Here in the UK, I don't think we have a great racial problem or anything like that. You go certainly to the East End of London and anything goes, and it's pretty good. Yes, of course, we have areas where there are people who are very, what would you say, rough, I suppose, rough. But it's the same the world over, isn't it? You know, just accept people for what they are. Gay marriage, I go along with maybe a civil partnership, but not a church thing. Now, I'm Catholic, and to me, a gay marriage in a Catholic church, no, I personally don't think it would be right. But that's just me. Other people would disagree. Other people will agree. I know one thing. I've never been kicked out the Catholic Church for who I am. That doesn't happen. I think this is a myth. You know, you don't get kicked out of religions, I don't think, for what you are. There are the rules which you are supposed to stick by. If you don't, well, you know, I don't think you get kicked out. Besides, you know, anyone who is religious, who is really religious rather, on whatever thing, would say God loves everyone. And who made the rules? A human. A human made the religious rules, didn't he? Think about that one, okay? Think about that one. But yeah, I don't. Yes, okay, civil unions, yes. Gay marriage in a church for me, no. It just doesn't sound right to me. Maybe it's the way I was brought up. I don't know. So it's a little bit too heavy for me. But thanks for the comments there, Joe. Always appreciated. Nearly time. Oh, it is time for me to go. Thank you very much for joining me on the show today. I'll see you on the next show. Don't forget, keep those emails coming in, all right? Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. It's been marvellous talking to you as always. And who knows what coloured shirt I'll be wearing next show. See you soon. For myself, Chris Reardon. Bye-bye.